What's up guys, it's Pyro and welcome to my starter build for Wò Long. This is going to be a quick build with the goal of providing you strong weapons that have good skills and easy to get armor sets and stat recommendations to amplify your damage further. The armor specifically also comes with the effect of marking flag locations on your map, so you're going to be able to get all the morale flags easily for 100% completion and to get as much morale as possible to make encounters more tolerable. And before we begin, if you want to know my thoughts on Wò Long, make sure to check out my review video in the end screen and give this video a like as well for more guides to come. But this is a pyromancy build based around fire, wood, and a little bit of earth to actually wear the dang armor with B agility. So here is the build. It is a sword and curved sword build using Cao Cao's full armor set. In Wò Long, you're able to get full armor sets and weapons from companions you'll meet in the story, called reinforcements, that you take on you with missions, and the more you take them with you, the more their bond increases. Once you max out their bond at level 10, you simply get their armor at 4-star rarity, which is the highest rarity for new game. And while rare, you can use the Cups of Cordiality to increase their bonds as well. But because of the simplified upgrade and modification system, you can take this beginning armor that you'll probably unlock around chapter 3 all the way to New Game Plus, which is post game after you beat the final boss. For the weapons, there's 3, but you only need to pick 2, with the third being mandatory. So the first 2 options are just your choice. First option is a sword with swift lightning. If you're lucky, Cao Cao's will have it attached when you get it, but otherwise go for the alternative. But swift lightning, from my test, was amongst the highest damage skill in the game, with only other charge skills like hammer or axe that competed. So it's basically the EI equivalent for the game. A charge skill that thrusts forward, which combined with our fire spell overpowered burst can deal upwards of 1k damage at +8. And I basically beat the game with the skill in my all bosses video, so very good skill. In Heaven's Reliance case specifically, it also scales with fire and wood, which is perfect. Next, an alternative that's more of a later chapter 6 drop, but it's the Draught Demon Blade. A scaling in fire at +8, it comes with Shimmering Sun skill. When you use this skill with Positive Spirit, you gain a fire buff on the weapon and it deals pretty good damage with hyper armor if used in Blue Spirit. But the fire is important because the wizardry spells that give the elemental buffs all suck. They last too short and cost a ton, so this is a great way to get burn status on enemies, and when you inflict a status on an enemy, they will flinch for a moment, which lets you get even more free hits in, on top of the burn dealing damage over time. But yeah, you won't be able to drop this until you face the duo monster battle with Skinny and Fat. And finally, the third option is Gooding Blade. It scales with fire, and its skill Thunderous Impact does a ton of spirit damage to human enemies. So this is purely for human bosses that are annoying, which you will face a ton. But yeah, it's a much better option than the other 2 against them, and does alright otherwise. For the stat effects, make sure to embed 1 damage stat, fire attack power, and whatever else you want. To embed jewels, you will need to go to the blacksmith and salvage junk gear you don't want, and by doing that, you get jewels from all their stats, which you can embed into the gear piece. If your gear already has stats, you simply remove them from the weapon from the same menu, and then you'll be able to put on the new stats you salvaged onto it. And for basic stats, when you salvage them, you can use them infinitely to put on any pieces of gear you want. But these rare ones, like you see here, are a one-time use per stat you salvage. So if you wanted this effect on another piece of gear, you would have to either find another junk gear with that effect to salvage, or remove the effect from this piece to put onto the other piece. But these cost more copper to add on, so keep that in mind. They will be expensive if you want to add a bunch. For armor, full Cao, as I said, and here is the set bonus effects. Yes, just like in Neo, there are set bonuses which activate once you have several pieces equipped of the same set. But with this set, we're not really getting any damage. I'm using it solely for the flags, but if you didn't care about finding flags, I would go full Zhang set, which gives you some martial arts damage. And he can be unlocked early, so you can have him with you on a bunch of missions and raise his bond pretty fast. And yeah, embed the stats that you see here. Basically, you're trying to get fire attack power on every piece, so our fireballs can actually do damage. Without these stats, they don't do that much, and even then, they're mostly just good against normal mobs, just to help pick them off better. For bosses, you'll rely on the martial arts and fatal strikes to kill them. So you would parry and then do a full charge swift lightning or shimmering sun attack, and then fatal strike them. And then after that, you can either buff or do another skill use when the boss is recovering. And that is how you'll basically play, but make sure to upgrade your armor with the weapons. So think of it as one chapter equals one upgrade. So by chapter 7, you should be having +7 gear, and you get upgrade materials from exploring maps, but also from salvaging junk gear too. So all the bad 2 and 3 star gear that you find, just salvage it, and you can get a lot of materials and those jewel thingies. For accessories, you can't change any stats, I don't think, so just equip a 4-star rarity one to have as much relevant stats as possible. Although one accessory should be Chow Chow's accessory, so you can have the full set bonus in effect, which you also get for free when you get his gear from the bond thing. For stats, you want to focus on fire and earth first. Wood is simply here for vitality absorb spell and more health, but you need 22 earth as soon as you can to wear Chow Chow's armor and be in green agility. Yellow might be viable, but you lose the better dodge by being in yellow, and agility affects the parry window. So the lighter you are, the better your parry is. And for the earth stat, it still kind of gives you more spirit too, so that's nice. After that, go into fire. The soft caps seem to be around 30 or less for most stats, and you don't need metal at all, but you do gain spirit sustainability, which caps around 10 before falling off a cliff and benefits, so don't go past 10 unless you plan to use a full metal build. And lastly, for spells, you want overpowered burst for like double the damage for your first martial arts or spell hit, but until you unlock this, replace this with amplified damage, and the way you unlock spells is by just raising your virtue, which is by leveling up basically. So the more you level up, the more spell points you get. Next, Firebolt, one of the strongest starting spells. Get it like right away. It lets you pick off enemies easily and 1 to 2 shots some weaker enemies like those zombie guys, and applies status pretty quickly against non-bosses. For your third, you want Vitality Absorb, basically a life leech buff. The health regain is a bit small, but if you do a critical with the buff on, you get like 30% HP refilled, so very strong there to save on heals. Definitely saved my life a few times against the bosses I fought. And lastly, Quake Bound. This thing will build up rock status simply by deflecting an enemy's attack. And the rock status, aka heaviness, increases spirit damage the enemy will take. So very nice in a game that revolves around criticals. And lastly I guess, is spirits. Snake OP. This thing not only applies poison on spirit attack, but also puts several debuffs on the enemy, including reduced defense ones. And when an enemy is poisoned, other debuffs won't expire till the poison debuff expires itself, meaning your burns or your heaviness status can stay on for a long time. So super strong, and kind of makes metal poison spells irrelevant when you can just use his spirit. Although I guess it does cost you a spirit. But this is unlocked around chapter 4 maybe, so you will just want to use the green dragon spirit for the big heals. And that is my recommended starter build for a new game playthrough. Just something quick to give you guys a solid direction to go with. I have a tips video on proper endgame builds later in the week, but just wanted to rush this out for people to get the leg up on the game. So leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Maybe we can do more new game builds. We'll see. I'm too tired to stream right now and my voice is going out, so stream will have to be tomorrow. But comment down below what build, weapon, or spells you plan to do if not this. And hope you guys enjoy the game when it releases tonight. And subscribe for more Wo Long epicness.